How much do you make as a nonprofit human services worker under your city contract?
My salary is $50,000.
And how do you feel about your salary?
It's a challenge. I don't feel like it's enough for an individual like myself who's also putting themselves through school so I can better my education and my craft in this field. In the small amount of time I've been in this industry, the minimal amounts the city is giving us each year it's not enough.
Can you tell us more about your job?
Sure. I'm a senior case manager here at Urban Pathways. We are a supportive housing agency. I have a caseload of clients. Right now it's 14. It can be anywhere from 10 to 19, where I work with clients individually every day. Once we get them housing in their homes to help rehabilitate their lives.
And how do the city's low wages affect staff and clients?
It's a tough sell when you're trying to recruit people. In my team alone, we're supposed to have 10 case managers. We have 6 right now. There are times we've only had 4. So it affects retention, and the retention really hurts the most, impacts the clients, because I'm a lot more effective at my job when I have 10 clients than when I have 19. When we have constant turnover with case managers, it's not uncommon for a client to have 4 or 5 different case managers in a 1-year period. And you're never going to be able to build a therapeutic alliance with a client when you have that type of turnover.
What do we want? Just pay! When do we want it?
Why did you first decide to go into human services?
I worked in the finance and the business world for over 20 years. I got sober 12 years ago, and that really changed my life. I wanted to change my career and come into human services. Through the addiction specialists and some of the recovery centers I got support in, and just seeing the altruistic people, men and women, helping each other, it really made a big impression on me. I just kind of woke up one day about 8 years ago and said, I want to do something else. My life has to be more meaningful than this.
And despite the city's low wages, why have you stayed in this work?
Well, I used to make a lot of very wealthy, greedy men very rich. But I would go to bed at night on a Friday after a long week and not feel like, just putting more money in their pockets for no greater good wasn't rewarding. Now I can wake up on a Saturday morning and I might have a lot less money in my pockets, but I can smile and say I made a difference in somebody's life this past week. And that's what, and you can't put a dollar amount on that.
What would you tell yourself 8 years ago about being a human services worker?
Save your money. There are moments when, I think I'm over the hump now. There are moments when I'm like, why did I do this? I have to be really honest with my 6 years ago self and say, hey, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really rough. You're going to probably have to work a second job and you're not going to be making a lot of money.
What do we want? Just pay! When do we want it?
What do you think New York City would be like without human services?
There'd be a lot less hope. Without qualified people like myself that are willing to better their education by getting a master's and a license in this field, there would be a lot more disparities out there, I'm sure.
So what do you want to tell Mayor Adams?
Mayor Adams, if you want more people like me that are willing to take a real life experience and transform it into this wonderful career in human services, we need to be paid correctly. I see my clients struggling with money, be like, I'm one paycheck away from where you are. If I was less stressed about money, I could dive more of that energy into my job.
And finally, if the city paid you a higher wage, what would you use the money for?
My student loans. See, right behind with I hang that over my desk all day. My student loans, just to not live in fear of living paycheck to paycheck. I know I'm not going to make as much money as in the career I used to, but I want to make enough that I don't have to worry as much.
What do we want?